The brain you're using to watch this video hasn't had a single update. In 40,000 years, same hardware, same wiring, same 86 billion neurons a hunter-gatherer used to track antelope across the savannah. Meanwhile, the device in your hand has more computing power than every machine NASA used to land humans on the moon. And you're using it to watch videos of cats and argue with strangers you will never meet. Your ancestor's brain and your brain are basically the same model, just running very different apps. But the thing in your pocket has been doubling in power every 2 years, for half a century, and the AI inside it is improving so fast. That last year's version already feels ancient. So here's the question that should keep you up at night. Why did evolution put the brakes on your brain while we slammed the gas pedal on artificial intelligence? Let's go back to the beginning. For most of human history, intelligence had one job: keep you alive long enough to make babies. That's it. Your brain didn't evolve to do calculus or write code. It evolved to remember which berries were poisonous, who owed you a favor, and whether that rustling bush was the wind or a leopard. And here's the brutal part. A bigger, smarter brain was actually a liability. Your brain is only about 2% of your body weight, but it eats 20% of your energy. Imagine hiring an employee who's 2% of your staff, but takes 20% of your payroll. You'd want that employee to be worth it. So evolution made a deal. Just smart enough to survive, not one neuron more. Because in a world where food was scarce, a genius who starved lost to an average guy who just ate lunch. Evolution doesn't reward intelligence, it rewards survival. And those two things are not the same. Now here's where it gets fascinating. Around 70,000 years ago, something flipped in the human brain. Scientists call it the cognitive revolution. Suddenly humans could imagine things that didn't exist. Gods, money, nations, laws. Remember that campfire your ancestors sat around at night? That's where it happened. During the day, conversation was practical. Who's hunting where? Which plants are ready? But at night, by the fire, humans started telling stories. And a story is just shared software running on multiple brains at once. That's the trick. A single human is not that impressive. Drop you naked in a forest and a bear will not be intimidated by your SAT scores. But a million humans sharing stories, knowledge, and instructions, that builds pyramids, rockets, and the internet. Humans didn't get smarter by upgrading the brain. We got smarter by networking the brains we already had. And this is the exact moment AI starts to rhyme with our history. Because for decades, scientists tried to build one super smart machine, one genius computer, and it mostly failed. Then around 2017, researchers had a different idea. What if, instead of one genius, we feed a machine the entire campfire? Every story, every book, every conversation humans ever wrote down. That's literally how modern AI works. A large language model is trained on a huge chunk of everything humanity wrote. It's not one brain. It's the digital ghost of billions of human campfires compressed into math. So when you ask AI a question, you're not talking to a robot. You're talking to a statistical echo of all of us. But here's the difference that changes everything. When your ancestor learned a certain mushroom was deadly, that knowledge died with them unless they told someone. Knowledge leaked out of human heads constantly. We forget. We die. We mishear the story. Evolution had no save button. AI does. When one AI model learns something, that improvement can be copied perfectly into the next version. Instantly. 1 billion times. No forgetting. No dying. No, wait, was it the red mushroom or the blue one? Said, while slowly turning purple. Imagine if every human who ever lived could instantly download the skills of everyone before. That's the gap between biological evolution and AI. One crawls over millions of years, the other sprints over months, and the numbers are genuinely absurd. It took evolution roughly 6 million years to go from ape-like ancestors to modern humans. It took AI about 6 years to go from barely writing a sentence to passing medical and law exams. Same direction, wildly different speed. So why the difference? Why is your brain stuck while AI keeps climbing? 3 reasons. First, energy. Your brain is capped at that 20-watt budget. AI can plug into an entire power plant. It doesn't have to survive a famine or skip breakfast. Second, time. Evolution upgrades through reproduction, one slow generation at a time. AI upgrades through training runs that finish over a weekend. Third, and this is the big one, copying. You cannot copy-paste your brain into your child. They start from scratch, learning to walk and not eat sand. AI starts every new version with everything the last one knew. It's evolution with cheat codes turned on. But before you panic, here's the twist most people miss. That same limited brain of yours still does things AI can't touch. You can run on a sandwich and a questionable amount of coffee. You can fall in love, feel awe, and change your entire life because of a single sunset. Your ancestors stared into a fire and invented gods and galaxies in their heads. AI has read about that feeling 1 trillion times. It has never once felt it. And once you sit with that, the rest gets almost funny. Because look at the absurd little engine that pulls it off. You're carrying around 86 billion neurons, wired into roughly 100 trillion connections. That's more connections in your head than there are stars in the Milky Way. And you used it to memorize a cat meme. Signals in your brain crawl along at about 120 meters per second. A computer moves signals near the speed of light. Your brain is basically running on dial-up and still beating the supercomputer at the things that matter. GPT-4 had to read about 13 trillion words to learn language. You'll read maybe a few 100 million in your whole life, and you still got the joke before it did. Your brain runs all day on 20 watts. Training one of these AIs reportedly costs over $100 million. The newest ones, rumored north of $1 billion. Just keeping one switched on, reportedly burns over $700,000 a day. Your brain costs your parents some snacks and occasional emotional damage. Roughly 117 billion humans have ever lived. AI has read most of what all of them wrote down. You read a cereal box this morning and felt productive. So people picture robots marching in to replace us. But that's the wrong movie. Every tool in this story was a sidekick, not a replacement. Fire didn't replace the cook. It just stopped us eating raw chicken and regretting it for 3 days. The calculator didn't replace the mathematician. It freed them to invent harder things to be confused by. AI is just the newest fire. We still decide what to cook on it. And notice what just happened here. You, a 40,000-year-old brain, sat perfectly still for several minutes. No leopard chased you, no antelope to track, just vibes and a video. An AI could read this entire script in a blink, but it can't care that it did. You can. That's the whole game. AI is the greatest how machine ever built. But why should I even get off the couch? That part is still gloriously yours. For 40,000 years, we sat by the fire telling stories to each other. Now, for the first time, we've built a fire that tells stories back. And the most human thing about it? We're the ones who taught it every word. So maybe evolution didn't stall. Maybe it finished its job, building a brain capable of building a better mind than itself. You didn't lose the race. You were never running the same one. Evolution built the runner. You picked the direction. The only question left is what story we tell it next. So, no pressure. Just the entire future of the species, resting in the same hands. That just like the video about cats.